Morning, Kaitlyn Aldrich, the city manager of Ludington. We are now live on our Facebook pages and our YouTube channel. How you doing this morning?
I'm good. Thanks for having us, Chris.
Yeah, we are coming into your life, into your office this morning, talking about the different things on the agenda for the night tonight for City Council. And before we even get to that, you are going to start seeing some classic cars rolling in and going in the Love Ludington weekend and everything else that happened over the past weekend, from blessing of the boats to everything. It has been an active Ludington, kind of a cool weekend, right?
Yes, it really has.
And looking forward to the summer activities. Well, let's dive into some things that I want to chat with you about. We've got city council meeting tonight. Let's actually, you know what? Before I bring up a topic, how about we just volley it to you and say what is the one topic that you would love to chat about today on the morning zoo this morning?
I would just say that the one thing that I would like to talk about was just my experience on the Badger this past Thursday.
Mhm.
This past Thursday, the Friends of the Ludington Police organized a fundraiser for the Children's Advocacy Center.
Yeah. Yep.
And partnered with the Badger and several other organizations, and it was really turned out to be a fantastic event. There were so many people, and it was a beautiful night for a great cause. I don't believe they've released the final fundraising numbers yet. But it was really incredible and a great way to kick off the weekend. And they are going to be doing that event again next year. So I definitely encourage for those of you who did not attend this year to make sure that you kind of bookmark your calendar for that event next year.
There you go. Could be a good annual event for the Ludington area.
Yes.
You have a packet for tonight's city council meeting that is pretty full, and a majority of it is the audit report that is going to is it presented tonight a little bit or reviewed?
It will be presented tonight. Yes.
All right, take us through what that sort of activity will be for those that are in attendance or watching tonight.
Sure. Our auditors will be coming up from, I believe, Saginaw to present the audit to City Council. The audit will be presented at a very high level overview. The summary of the audit really is that there are no significant findings, meaning that there's no really key issues with our audit findings this year. We generally don't have any issues in our audit. Those issues really are transactions that have occurred without policies that back them up. Um, uh, you know, funds being overspent, various things like that. So the audit will be presented. Council will ask any questions that they have, and then we'll go from there. We do have some. The auditors have recommended maybe some policy changes to make our financial transactions through the years a little bit simpler. So for those that attend frequently, you'll likely see some policy changes over the next month or so that we will try to implement to make daily administrative throughout the year a bit simpler for us. Otherwise, the audit simply states that we have to continue doing what we've been trying to do, which is continue to find ways to really make smart decisions in our
Yeah.
in our budget decisions, and try to save some money.
Well, and that would be the question that I have. Your last statement there. Do you see where the city can save money here and there? Are those parts of your conversations, even though we're not even a year in yet for you taking over at the city manager position there. What is your outlook? And obviously, any person that comes in, they're like, well, let's how do we save money here, or how do we grow here, or so on and so forth. But what is your vision, or what are those conversations like? Do you mind sharing?
The audit won't necessarily point those things out. They're really, day to day and decisions that we make as a team, and that we present to city council for their consideration. So in my position, I can certainly and will be making recommendations to council, for them, for their consideration, but they have to align, with the strategic goals of the city, and really the needs of the city. So I have a list. Certainly not ready to make that public yet,
Mhm.
quite frankly, because um, I'm new, right?
Yeah,
In,
yeah.
in some of those decisions that are or options that might be on the table, that I might see as, hey, this is a black and white way we could save 100 grand. There might be a 20-year history of why we spend that money, right?
Okay.
And I don't want to cause any ripples in the community that are unnecessary.
Okay.
So they're just, as of right now, they're just ideas on a piece of paper.
Do
Um,
you see do you see that there will be a time when you have those conversations, and if so, when?
well, we usually start our budget in August, so next month,
All right. All right. So, yeah,
very
so
quickly.
absolutely. If
Yes.
you're just joining us, we're talking with Kaitlyn Aldrich, city manager of Ludington this morning, here on Mom FM and Hot Country Hits 99.9. You have, let's see, not, I don't know. I mean, looking at the agenda for the night tonight, there's not a ton on it, but there is an adopt a resolution supporting the DNR for the local watercraft control there. Do you mind diving a little bit into that? What the conversation will be like tonight?
So, as far as I understand, the that resolution is to allow the DNR to adopt rules, that allows the DNR to regulate the distance at which other boaters have to stay within a safe distance from, like, larger vessels.
Hmm. Yeah.
So that clear sight distance, in the front, the rear, and both sides of vessels.
Okay.
Um, right now, we can't really enforce that. It's something that we need the DNR to help us, to help kind of pull that trigger.
Okay.
So there's been some really close calls, I guess, in the past,
Hmm.
and so we have to go through this process, in order to keep, quite frankly, all boaters safe.
Yeah.
So we're going through this process, so the harbor master and, all of the jurisdictions out there can help keep everybody safe on the water.
Well, and you brought up the badger earlier in our conversation. That was a big part of probably a little bit of that initiative, because there was a lot of times where even us at the media were alerted that the police department, marina, others wanted to get information out that the boats were not moving when the badger was coming in, and other vessels as well. So now you get a chance to put this kind of in writing or in policy, I guess it would be, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. If
Correct. And it
if
can actually be, it can actually be enforced out on the water. So
have you talked a little bit about what the infractions might be? Is that something that the DNR still has to set? Is that something locally that the police department or the city in general gets to set for the infraction side of things?
that I do not know. That is something that I imagine, Chief Jones will talk about tonight at City Council.
Mhm.
But I'm sorry, I don't know the answers
No?
to those questions.
It's okay. That's why you have other department heads to come together and bring that information to you. On tap tonight, you've got from the Parks and Rec, Gus Macker, and then approval of the National Night Out, the Prepare Fair. Let's talk a little bit about Gus Macker. That's coming up this weekend in the Ludington area. 774 teams, up from a slight increase from last year.
Mhm.
Uh, the police department doing a lot this year in regards to safety and implementing that plan to ensure not only residents but also those that are visiting the area are safe, and those that are playing in Macker. Looking forward to a presentation tonight by yours truly, as it would be,
Yes.
and looking forward to just presenting some statistics. What the plans are for this weekend. But with Macker being such a 33 plus year event, it's kind of like a template that repeats every year. You just got to kind of fill in the spaces there. But this will be your first Macker or not?
It will be my first Macker, yes.
All right. We're gonna have to try to get you down and shoot a basket to start Macker. And how's your basketball game?
It's all right. It's been a little while, but I played in high school.
All right, you got 5 days to practice.
No pressure, Chris. No
Yeah,
pressure.
absolutely. Uh, yeah, but then in all seriousness, it's an event that attracts a lot of people to the area, and it'll be exciting to share some of the statistics um, for that from the actual raw data of this year's a Macker entrance. We forwarded a copy over to to the city and city council already, so they have that as part of the packet. But hopefully, people will realize that it's not only something that draws visitors in as visitors to the area, but there's a lot of teams and a lot of individuals locally that play in Macker from the Ludington area and other surrounding cities. So looking forward to sharing that data tonight.
Can you remind me, is this the biggest Macker in the country?
Yeah, it is. The closest is about 400 teams, so there's a pretty wide gap between the second closest Macker and Ludington. So I think it should be something that the community can be proud of, and I think what's really neat, again, this is part of those statistics, is that this has become a really family friendly event. Over 75% of those that are playing in Macker are under the age of 19, so between 5 and 19. And I think that says a lot between, the visitor makeup coming to the area. There was a lot of hype years ago, and I think it was relevant that there was a lot of rowdiness and bar crowd and all that kind of idea. But now you really see younger generations, with Macker, and hopefully that's something that can be sustainable for years to come. Yeah, it's kind of neat.
Is there any thoughts as to why the Ludington Macker is almost twice the size of any other Macker out there?
I think it goes to the leadership over the years. The Chamber of Commerce created an event that was looked at as that's the destination to go to if you're going to play. And a lot of players will play in multiple Mackers. It's a traveling tournament. I mean, it's a tournament where they do sign up for it. And we saw that with registrations. Once one Macker was complete, we saw an uptick that Monday, Tuesday in registrations. And then when the next Macker, that uptick, it's like, oh, we had fun. Let's play another one and go that direction. And of course, there is nothing like playing right there at Stearns Beach, right next to Lake Michigan, having the wind off the lake. And I think you have a great support from the city council and city members. And I think what we've seen, especially last year to this year, or in the last couple of years, I guess, is sort of that idea that it is a good intro to the area without it being chaos in the sense. Yeah, it does close down some roadways. It does inconvenience some homeowners and and drivers and commuters, but there's a lot of effort behind the scenes working with the city to curb a lot of the inconvenience side of things. And I think players and spectators and others they see that. One of the things that we'll mention tonight is the economic growth, and there's actually trackable economic growth in regards to what an event like Macker can bring in, and it can bring in between $3 and $6 million into the economy when you think about the thousands and thousands of spectators and basketball players. So it's a good, one of those jump starts to the summer months, and with the right management, planning. One of the individuals that we have to certainly give credit to is Mike Hadman. He took a huge lead on that security and safety plan, working with the security team, and that trickled down effect. And that was pretty awesome that they did that with the police department. So yeah, that looks good. It looks good.
And this year they did send out a letter with the kind of the traffic plan and the route to residents and businesses right along the corridor there, to be a little bit more proactive. So that just went out at the end of last week. So hopefully kind of the residents in the area have a heads up. And we'll see how, hopefully, people have a little bit more of a heads up this year. And there's always going to be, people who are upset, but I think overall it'll be a fantastic weekend, and I really look forward to my first Macker.
I hope it's going to be exciting, and plus the weather looks like it's going to be a good event for it. Let's transition real quick as we'll wrap up here in a few minutes, as we have another segment coming up in just a little bit. But the National Night Out and Prepare Fair coming to the area, and that's for an approval tonight. Is that right?
I believe so. Yes.
And that's obviously, as the word says, national. It's an event throughout the country, and Ludington no different than hosting it. And to make sure that we have events that are family friendly, that continue like this as well.
Yes. Yep.
And that approval will be tonight. You have Naders that are that's looking for a liquor license. Tell us a little bit about that, if you don't mind, before we wrap up.
It's my understanding that Naders is looking for a liquor license. In this, it's very simple, kind of like the one that we approved last month, and all we're doing is approving. Is my understanding is approving the application to the Liquor Control License Board. So we're not actually approving their liquor license. We're just approving their application to go to the state to request a liquor license. They still have to go through all of the steps with the state, and we're just allowing their application to move forward. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens tonight. But we don't actually have a say in whether they get a liquor license or not. We just we're that first pass along in the process.
Understandable.
So I believe that the owner of Naders and their legal representation will be in attendance tonight to discuss that.
Okay. All right. Looking forward to hearing that. It's City Council at 6 p.m. tonight. And obviously the community is welcome to attend, voice their opinions, and ask questions, or at least propose questions that could be answered at a later date. And some are answered actually in City Council meeting, which is kind of neat to see that from time to time. But it's always nice that the community is engaged with it. We appreciate it, Kaitlyn, for joining us, and we will chat with you later. How's that?
Thanks, Chris.
All right.
Have and have a great time this weekend. And you'll have to let us know, and we'll all be tuning in to hear how the macro goes.
All right, sounds great. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Have a
Yep,
good week, everybody.
you too.